Okay, so Phoenix finally happened, and honestly, after the chaotic start to the 2021 season, to this season, and with so many surprise winners and all that, this weekend at Phoenix, it was pretty tame, but there's still plenty to talk about. First of all, for the Xfinity race, I first of all want to start this off by giving some huge props to Daniel Suarez in the booth. Like, now of course I do not watch the Fox Sports, like the broadcast on the English broadcast. I watch it on Fox Sports 3 Latin America. I watch the Spanish feed on Fox Sports 3. I do not watch the I do not watch the original stuff on Fox Sports or FS1, but I saw some bits of it on Twitter. I saw some I heard some sound bites of Suarez, and I even saw him speaking some Spanish there, and it was pretty good. At first, I was a bit worried that Suarez might actually sound a bit awkward, because he speaks English, he knows how to speak English, and I know he makes a good effort at it, but sometimes that English you just cannot understand what he says sometimes, and that has been a bit of a criticism for Suarez throughout his career. But um, I think it's officially a dead joke because his English sounded pretty good in the booth for the most part. Um, Also, we saw the Josh Berry just getting angry. Speaking of Twitter stuff, Josh Berry got angry at Santino Ferrucci for wrecking him out. Uh, he basically did the Chase Elliott on him times two. He just pulled out the double bird, and of course NASCAR Twitter meme pages just um, got in a frenzy. Not only because Josh Berry is a very likable driver, but also because Santino Ferrucci is he's very controversial. Let's just put it that way. Gonna leave it at that. Okay, so moving on, and this is something that not only applies for the doesn't apply not only for the Xfinity race but also for the Cup race. The PJ1. The PJ1 has been very controversial. It was added. PJ1, of course, traction compound was added to create like a artificially create a new racing group to the track for there to be more groups out there. But at this point, it's a disaster. It's a complete disaster. PJ1 has ruined NASCAR tracks so much. Has ruined several NASCAR tracks, and Phoenix has been one of them. You get into the PJ1 racing groove, and it's unraceable. And now, of course, I'm not one of those people that's completely negative about the PJ1, but the more and more I watch it, I watch races with the PJ1, the more and more I realize that maybe the PJ1 is not the solution for to create like to enhance the racing product. So moving on to the Cup race now, as I said before, the Cup race was pretty tame. There wasn't really like an upset winner. As a matter of fact, the winner was far from an upset. It was one of your usual one of the usual winners. That being, of course, Martin Truex Jr. Of course, he hadn't won this season yet, so that makes it what, five different winners now. So of course he adds his name to the list of winners, fifth winner in five different races. And but a lot of things happen. Truex did not win this race in the dominant fashion that he did, and this race, while not perfect, it was very reminiscent of last year's race. The last race before the pandemic. Um, there was not there was not like a car to beat. The closest thing to that, I believe, was Joey Logano, based off of who led the most laps, of course. I think it was Logano. I may be wrong, but of course there was also Keselowski. He started from the pole. Uh, there was also Denny Hamlin at times. Truex, of course. Logano. Uh, I think there was some Chase Elliott there up front. I may be wrong. I may be confusing it with the race last year, but I don't know. I think I saw some Elliott up front. I don't know if he led any laps or how many he led, but I know he was up front there as well towards the end and towards the middle part, of course. Excuse me. But another guy who actually looked pretty strong as well was Kyle Larson. And Larson actually started from the rear, and he made a charge to the front, and then he got penalized, and then he made another charge to the front, and then he got penalized again. So as good as Kyle Larson is, and I cannot stress this enough, as Kyle Larson has been actually pretty solid to start this season. And if it wasn't for that wreck at the Daytona Road Course, who knows? Maybe he would have finished top 10 in all 4 races to start the season. And he finished in the top 10 in this race, but I mean, for how fast he was, those mistakes were costly. He could have been fighting for the win there at the very end. And that's the thing with Kyle Larson. It's that he always tends to beat himself. He always tends to overdrive the car. He has that tendency ever since his Ganassi days, and I don't think just a change in equipment will work for him. The only thing that can stop Kyle Larson is Kyle Larson, and that will always be a constant. Kyle Larson is an amazing talent, but he sometimes needs to. But in order for him to take that next level, he needs to minimize those mistakes and not overdrive the car a lot. And, of course, while Phoenix was a good race, like I said, this race is not Homestead. It's not Homestead. It's not a great track as it was Homestead. As a matter of fact, the race at Homestead was actually better than the race at Phoenix this year or last year. And when I say the race last year, I'm saying the race before the pandemic, not the Championship 4 race. But this spring race at Phoenix, it had a lot of comers and goers, just like the Homestead race. But I mean, the PJ1. When you look at Homestead. Homestead is an old, worn-down surface where tire strategy becomes a factor, and yeah, at Phoenix, tire strategy also becomes a factor. But the difference between this track and Homestead, is that Homestead doesn't have a PJ1, doesn't have a artificial surface to create some more racing, and even then, the PJ1 is not doing a very good job at that. The fact that you have to use and that just calls into question the fact that you have to resort to using PJ1 and stuff like that to produce a better racing. Is this actually even is it actually even worth it to run the season finale at Phoenix? I just hope that NASCAR decides on doing a rotation finale. I know the schedule hasn't been announced for 2022, but I really hope NASCAR considers rotating the finale. Like, I know the finale for 2021 will still be at Phoenix, but for 2022, NASCAR should really consider switching the venue or rotating it between several racetracks. Like, Atlanta should be the season finale. Maybe try sometime later, maybe, I don't know, Kansas as a season finale, Las Vegas as a season finale, I don't know. Just putting that out there, but please, Phoenix is not it. Phoenix, as good of a racing product as it provided, I think this is gonna be the best we will get, and even then, Phoenix's best is not good enough. Like the finale should stay at Homestead. Either keep it at Homestead or just rotate it, or just don't move it at all. But if you're not gonna move it at all, if you're gonna make it a stationary venue, don't let it be at Phoenix. It's not it. You know what I'm getting at. I'm just rambling at this point, but yeah, that's all I had to cover for this weekend. Goodbye.